I must said peace out because I just said that to Chris. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Okay, so I was thinking I had to cut this short, but I actually don't have to leave my house until like 9 o'clock because I'm going to a library today. I know this is going to look really cute, isn't it? I won't do that. I have to go to a library and it's only 30 minutes away today, where normally it's been like an hour to an hour and a half. And so I've been having to leave my house at 8 o'clock, which means I'm having to fly out of here and do my farm chores. But this morning, I don't have to leave till 9 o'clock. So I don't feel so rushed. All right. Did y'all grab your vodka at 7 a.m.? All right. First of all, I'll update you. Larry's doing okay at the nursing home. He has had lots of visits from people. And today, the center is going to visit him, and they're taking him a little care package. And Larry's hospice nurses are going to visit, but understand they're going to visit, and it's not their nurse visit. They're going to visit because they care. They're not at work going to visit. They're literally visiting him after hours to make sure he's okay. I'm going to tell you right now, hands down, and I have dealt with hospice with my mother because my mom was on hospice for years and years and years. Okay. She was bedridden for 11 years. I have dealt with many hospice companies. By far, Affinity Hospice from Coleman is absolutely the most incredible, caring people that I have ever met in my life. They're not here just for Larry, but they're here for me too. They call me, they message me, they call and check on me. How are you doing? They know how Larry is and they know what I'm dealing with because they're at my house every day. They see me juggling Larry and the farm and trying to do social media. They see all that. So they know firsthand what I'm going through. And they check on me. I'm not even the patient. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Larry's Hospice for being absolutely incredible. And I'm sure if you've dealt with hospice before, like you start getting close to them because they're here every day. So it means a lot to me. All right. Today, hang on. Let me see exactly how I said it. I'm flying by the seat of my pants, to be honest with y'all. Like yesterday, actually last night, I said, Shane, I can't go live tomorrow and I don't know what to do. He was like, what do you mean? I'm like, I'm tired. I'm just, I'm tired. And I just told Chris right before we went live it's like I'm working triple right now because like I'm gone doing libraries and churches and all this stuff. And I don't get a pass at everything that's happening at home. So I get home and I'm like, oh my God, I got it. Like this morning, I got up at 5 a.m. trying to edit videos for them to come out on Thursday. I'm like, when am I going to edit my video? I've got to do that. So I got up early this morning, started trying to put something together. And last night, Shane and I were out the farm till like 9:30 trying to clean breeders and clean rabbit cages and put animals to bed and feed animals because I'm not here to do my farm chores. So it's like double duty. And then I'm sure that somehow you can relate to me when you're trying to juggle life. And then, it's like I'm driving down the road. I'm driving down the road headed to a church and hospice is calling, and the nursing home's calling. I'm like, I got it. I was in the middle of my program yesterday and hospice called, and I was like, I got to answer it. So I had to stop the program to answer to make sure Larry was okay. And it's like juggling all that. And I'm sure, like I said, somehow, some way you can relate to me because it's not like Judy's the only person doing that, but it's hard. It's hard, you know? So, yesterday I went to my hometown. Um, I'm from Alabaster. That's what I say. That's not where I grew up, but that's where my children grew up, is Alabaster. So my kids and I call home Alabaster. So yesterday, and Alabaster is about an hour away from my house. And so when I went to Alabaster, it flooded me with memories because the church that I went to, I used to teach senior citizens in the mornings on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday there. And I taught aerobics. And so I would go in, and it was like there was probably about 20 people that came to my class, and it was a mixture of men and women. And I taught step aerobics. Like, these people were doing step aerobics, and they're like senior citizens. We did kickboxing, we did yoga, we did chair aerobics. And like as I stood in the gym and I was looking around, I just, you know, I was looking going, I wonder what they're doing now. Because they were because my kids would go with me, and my kids were young, and it was like having a bunch of grandmothers. They loved my kids, they loved me. They would bring my kids little snacks, to keep them entertained while I taught aerobics. And it was great memory. So when I was standing there at the church, I just was like smiling ear to ear, thinking about how much my life had changed. Because when I was teaching aerobics, did I ever dreamt of marrying Shane and moving to Coleman and having a farm? My life was revolved around health and fitness. That's what I did. And so it just brought a smile. I was just sitting there smiling because I was at home. It's like if you go back to your home, like where you raised your kids, if you go back, it's like emotional because it's almost like you tear up because you're thinking about your kids being small or what your life was back then. But then you tear up because it's almost like you miss your children being small, or you miss that part of your life, but then you're also thankful for your new life. It's like a mix of emotions. Y'all know what I'm talking about. It's like if you go drive by the house that you grew up in, you might like have an emotion of missing your mom and dad if they're no longer here, or remembering your brother and sister. And it was like that, but it was like I was in a hurry, so I couldn't dwell on it because I was like, I got to do this program. Well, last year I went to the church, and the church wanted to come to my farm. But at the time I was close to the public, and I couldn't let the church come to my farm, which was disappointing. But so I told her, I said, I'll come to you again this year. So last year, when I did the program, I took Ruger. Ruger's the goat, I took Ruger, and the kids got to walk Ruger in the gym because we were in the gym. And I took Queso, and I took my rabbits, and I'm pretty sure I took a baby pig. I'm pretty sure I did, because back then, last year, I had baby pigs. And so it was in the gym. So, Addie's helping me as a young girl. She's 16. She's helping me with doing the libraries, juggling it. And I will tell you, every single year that I have done this, I've done it by myself. Like, like it is it's hard to do it by yourself because you get up, you go live, you're running out to do farm chores, you're putting animals in the car, you're packing up all the stuff that you have to take, I have to take a speaker and my books and pee pads and water and hay for the animals and feed and a fence and a crate and I'm loading everything in the car. And by the time I do it, I'm soaking wet. And then I'm driving to, the library by myself, unloading it all by myself, performing, loading it all back up, driving all the way home, unloading it again. So I'm very thankful. This is the first year that I haven't done it by myself. And it's been it's been a lot easier. And I also hired Shayna to help with Larry and to help me with some of the farm chores around here. And I honestly said I would never hire anybody for my farm again because I've had I don't know how to put it. In the past, it's just not been good. Let's just put it like that. I'm going to leave it like that. But it's just, and I said, I'll never hire anybody. If Shane and I cannot do it by ourselves, I'm not doing it. But there's no way, honestly, that I can do Larry, the farm, and go. So I've had to kind of think that a little bit. I think I was caught up in the moment of being hurt. So I've been thankful for Shayna helping with Larry and Addie helping me. Hang on, I gotta help my dog. Get up there, you silly goose. Go up. I've been thankful for help because I have felt overwhelmed. Let's just because also it is raining every single day in Alabama. It rained yesterday. It rained the day before, right? And so when you're trying to get animals up and it's pouring down raining and you got to get up and perform and you got to drive an hour and a half and you're trying to do farm tour, it can be a lot. It can be, and over the past couple of weeks, I have been stretched really thin. So yesterday when I went there, we started putting everything in the gym because that's what we did last year. And as we were we unloaded the whole truck. And then this lady came up to me and she said, we don't have permission to do it in the gym. We can't do it in the gym. And I'm like, I just unloaded the entire truck into the gym. And she begins to tell me that we have to do it outside. And I'm thinking in my head, I have wool bunnies. I can't put a bunny down on the ground nor queso on the ground because what if the bunny hops over the kids? I'm not going to get the bunny. Like, this is not good. And I looked at Addie and I was like, holy crap, what am I going to do? Like, what? What am I going to do? And so the lady began to tell me that there was a house behind the church and it had a fence around it. And I was like, I know, but does it have a plug? Because I have to have my speaker to be able to hook my Bluetooth to do the program. And she said, yes, there's a plug back there. And I looked at Addie. I said, I guess we're doing this outside. I said, you have got to keep your eyes on these bunnies. I'm going to keep my eyes on queso. You keep your eyes on the bunny because if the bunny, it is a fenced in area, so it's not like the bunny can get away. But us out there trying to chase a bunny, because it's not like they're going to come up to you, right? It don't work that way. So I felt a little stressed out. And then it has been raining. Okay. It has been raining. So, needless to say, the grass is soaking wet. And I'm thinking in my head, where are the kids? Like, what are the kids just going to stand up for me reading the book? They're going to get really bored. And I'm thinking, this is not going to go well. This is not going to go well. Well, there was a little bit of concrete in the back. So I told the kids, I said, y'all sit on the concrete. I'm going to stand in the grass where it's wet. So I began to do the program, and it was going well. Like, the kids were dancing. I mean, there are some kids that will not respond to me at all. It happens every time. But for the most part, they're responding. Okay. Well, then the sun starts coming out, and the sun is like beaming right where the concrete is. And the kids are like, they're squinting. And I was about to the point of reading the book, and I'm thinking, they're not going to sit in the blazing heat in the sun, hot outside. And me and Addie had bug bites all over us. Okay. There was some kind of mosquito or something out there. And so I told the kids, I said, do y'all want to go sit in the grass in the shade? I said, because I don't want y'all to sit out here and burn up while I tell you my story. And I almost did not even read my book, because I was thinking, the kids are not going to want to sit on the wet grass. They're not going to want to sit on the concrete in the blazing heat. They won't let me go into the gym. What am I going to, how am I going to dance? Am I going to sit it out, or how am I going to entertain these kids? Okay. And keep my animals safe. And so in the fenced in area, there was a house, there was a playground, and then there was a grass area, and then there's woods, but it was fenced in. And all I could think was, okay, yes, it's fenced in, but I have Angora wool bunnies, and if they get away and go into those woods, guess who gets to go chase them? Me and Addie. And I was thinking, this is not going to go good. So I was nervous. I was really nervous. Well, after we did like the dancing part, I said, kids, do y'all want to go sit in the grass in the shade? I know it's wet, but I don't know what to tell you. Kids don't usually care. And they went over there in the shade. Some of them wouldn't sit in the wet grass. Some of them sat on the concrete in the sun. And then some of them went over to the shade and sat on the wet grass. And I was thinking in my head, this is not going to go well. Because I was trying, you imagine, I'm standing up there. I have an audience over here, an audience over here, and an audience over here. So I'm trying to read and entertain and educate, I'm like, have multiple places that I have to look, to show the picture of the book. So I begin to read. It was a train wreck. I mean, kids were they were picking stuff off the bushes, throwing it in the woods. Ain't no more paying attention to Meet the Man in the Moon. They're not. And then I'm outside, and normally I do not use my microphone when I'm reading the book because I'm animated. Well, the teachers were talking. I was trying to project my voice outside over people talking, over kids not really paying attention to me. And I just said, I can't do this. So I grabbed the microphone and I started reading the book from the microphone. And I'm going to be honest with you. It was so bad that I skipped a couple of pages in the book because I was like, no one's listening to me. And I'm up here reading, giving it my all. And I can't, for some reason, I can't hold their attention because of the atmosphere that's going on. I'm outside, it's hot, it's wet, people are talking, like it's not good. And so I felt, I looked at Addie and I said, this is terrible. No one learned anything. Like, I don't know if one person really paid attention paid attention to me, but they did. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that. There were a couple of kids, like when I would say, "What did Judy do?" She didn't listen to what they had to say. They were repeating the book to me. So there were some kids that were paying attention to me. But when I tell you there were some kids, maybe 5, the rest are not paying it. They're running around. They're running around. And in my Thursday video, y'all are going to see what I'm talking about because it was recorded and I wanted you to see how sometimes in life, if like you look around and you think no one's listening to you, right? You're like, no one, like, I don't know, you might just be talking like to your family, to your kids, to your friends. I don't know. Maybe you get up and have to do a speak. Hang on. A speech, not a speak. And when you look out and you think no one is listening to you, like so, maybe like try to relate to me. Maybe you're like trying to tell your husband or your wife something. And you're like spilling your guts out. And there's like a dead mute in front of you. You're like, they're not listening to what I had to say. Because you know how sometimes when you're talking, the other person doesn't listen to you. They're trying to respond to what you say. Like they're trying to think in their head what they're going to say next. They're not really listening to you. I'm the worst at that, okay? I'm the worst at thinking about what I'm going to say. And you're not listening to what they have to say. And I will tell you, I have a bachelor's in business. And one of the things they teach you is how important it is to listen. Because when you're a salesman, if you're trying to do all the talking, or let's say that you're meeting someone and you're talking the whole time, telling them about you, it's a turnoff. It's a turnoff to if I'm sitting in a sales meeting and I'm trying to sell, I don't know, an application to a doctor, and I'm talking the whole time and I'm telling the doctor about the application and showing them the application, but I'm not listening to what the needs are of the doctor. I'm talking for no reason at all. He's not listening to me because he's probably thinking, she doesn't even know what I do. She doesn't even know what I need. I used to sell this application. Okay. And what it was is, now, this was a long time ago. So back in the day, we didn't have stuff like this, but it was a new application. It was for doctors that patients were in labor. Well, back in the day, in order for a doctor to see the contractions and see what's going on, the doctor would have to physically come to the hospital and look at the monitor to see the contractions. They couldn't do it from another location. They had to physically come over to the wing of the hospital to look at the monitor to see what the patient's contractions are doing, or they had to call the nurse and say, "Hey, what how close are the contractions?" Or how and the doctor had to determine, when do I need to get there to deliver the baby? Okay. So it was really stressful for a doctor to multitask because they were trying to see patients in their office on top of having active people in into labor. So the application that I used to sell to them was, it was an app on your phone where the doctor could see the monitor from his phone. So he could see the monitor between patients at the doctor's office, and he would know when to get to the hospital to do the delivery. So that is what I was selling. I used to go into the hospitals, and that's what I would sell, that application, to the hospitals and to the doctor's office. Okay. If I don't listen to the struggle of what the doctor, because I can have in my mind the struggle that the doctor goes through. But if I don't listen to him and I don't listen to his struggle, and I do all the talking, he's going to go, I don't have time to sit and talk to this lady. I have active patients in the delivery room or whatever. I don't have time. Like, in order for us as salespeople to talk to a doctor, we have to buy them lunch. We have to talk quickly in the lunchroom and provide them lunch in order to talk to the doctor's office. Ask any pharmaceutical rep, any medical device sales rep. That is how we have to talk to the doctors. We literally have to buy them lunch, and we have about 15 minutes to sell them. Okay. So if I go in there and I say, tell me what your biggest struggle is being a doctor, having patients in active labor, and you trying to juggle being in your office, seeing patients on top of having active patients in the delivery room at the hospital. How long does it take you to get to the hospital? And tell me tell me what an average day looks like for you when you have active people in labor and trying to juggle both. And he begins to tell me, and I sit and listen. And it's almost like he talks himself into needing the application. And I haven't said a word. I'm selling him by listening to him. And he's telling me, oh my God, it's so hard when I have patients that have an appointment at 1 o'clock, and then one of my active labor patients has a complication and I have to do a C-section, and then patients are sitting at the doctor's office because I'm doing an emergency C-section and they need to get back to work and can't. He begins to tell me his struggles. So then he's talking himself into what I'm trying to sell him. But if I don't listen and I do all the talking, he doesn't understand why he needs this application. It's the same thing with you talking to your spouse. Okay, let's say that there's something that your spouse does that you cannot stand. Okay? And you're like, I'm fixed to have a serious come to Jesus talk with her. She leaves bottle caps all over the freaking place. And I'm fixing to have a serious come to Jesus talk because I'm sick of bottle caps being all over our yard, all in my cars, all in the side by side, all in our house. And I'm going to have a serious come to Jesus talk with her. And they sit me down. Shane sits me down. I am sick and tired of bottle caps being all over the place. What do? I shut down because he's saying it ugly and he's doing all the talking. But if he said to me, Judy, I think you have too much on you. I noticed that you're all over the place. I think you have too much on you. I've, you know, I I've noticed like you're letting some things go. So what can I do to take some stress off you so that you're better organized? Dude, I'm so glad you noticed because I am trying to figure out how to take care of Larry, how to take care of this farm. I don't have a set salary every month where I know that my bills are going to be paid. I have to work my butt off and hope that it works. And I feel stressed out. So, yes, I am not organized because I'm all over the freaking map. I'm glad you noticed. And then I start talking to him about how stressful it is to do what I'm doing. And he's and then he slips in there. Well, I noticed that you're leaving bottle caps all over the place. And I want to see if I can help you not do that. Why am I doing my hair? Um, what I'm getting at, let me get to the point, is when I was sitting there in front of the kids, I felt as though I just needed to hand the check back to the church and go, I'm not worth the money that you're paying me right now because no one's listening to me. And I just don't feel in my heart that that I'm worth what you're paying me right now. Because I mean, I didn't say that, but that's what I felt. I literally got in the car and I was like, Addie, I feel like I just need to hand this check back to them. I said, because this was awful. No one listened to me. I mean, very few people listened to me. I don't know if they understood anything that I said. I don't know. And I began to get in a bad mood. I began to get in a bad mood. And I came home. Addie helped me put the animals up. I noticed at the event at the church that Queso's shell was cracked. And I was like, I'm the only person that picks up Queso. None of these kids have ever dropped, like, nothing's ever happened to Queso. And I'm like, what the crap happened to Queso? And then I come home, and in my driveway are feathers everywhere. Granted, the day before, the same thing happened to me. So I'm juggling, feeling like a failure. I'm feeling like a failure at this church. And then I come home and I'm like, this sucks. This absolutely sucks. What's happened to Queso? What has happened? So then I pull up my cameras. And I am up to here because I am dealing with dogs on my property, killing my animals. And I'm like, what do I do? I have been dealing with this for a year and a half. What do I do? What do I do? And I I sat there and paused, and I just sat there. And it seems like so many people comment, you need a livestock dog, you need hot wire, you need, and you have to understand that my chickens and queso, my chickens were not in my fence. They were in my yard, but they hopped over the fence. And it seems like it's just like everybody's trying to help me, giving me advice over the, when my peacock, died. Everybody's giving me about, you need a hot wire, you need a livestock dog, you need this, you need this. And I'm like, I appreciate everybody trying to give me solutions, because people care about me. But the thing is, first of all, I'm not going to go to the solutions. But yesterday I felt overwhelmed. I had to do my video for Thursday. I was like, I can't do the video. I can't sit here. I was dealing with the police at my house. I was dealing with the loss of my animals, dealing with what am I going to do about queso? And then my brain was going to, I just raised all this money for queso's enclosure, and the enclosure that I was wanting to build doesn't keep dogs out of my farm. I mean, out of queso's enclosure, because queso's enclosure was going to be on the outside of my farm. So I felt like back to square one, going, how do I protect my animals? And I thought, how do I get kids to pay attention to me? Like when I'm in a like hot outside, bugs biting me, how wet grass, how do I get people's attention? How do I get the people that own these dogs? How do I get their attention? I, I, I felt as though no one is listening to me. I've called animal control umpteen hundred times. They come here, no one is listening to Judy. What do I do? Have you ever felt that way? Have you ever felt like just no one is listening to you? I got this new blush off the TikTok shop. I think I like it. I tried it yesterday. So no one's listening to me. And when things hit you, you start taking everything down with you. Because this is what, now I can't speak for you. Let me just speak for me. When things start hitting me like this, because I told you hospice is calling me in the middle of the program. No one's listening to me. I get home and it's a train wreck. I start pulling everything. I don't even know why I go into the schools. I don't know why I do this. I don't know why I leave my farm. When I leave my farm, it's a disaster. Like, I pull everything negative down with me. Everything. But I'm going to tell you something. I don't know. You probably know this because you're all adults. You have no idea who's watching you. I mean, yeah, me on social media, I have no idea who watches my videos. But neither do you. You can go through the Wendy's drive-through and hand your money to the lady, and you have no idea the difference that you can make in that person's life because you don't know what they're going through. You can go into Walmart and just shop for groceries. And let's just say that you fixed up that day. Okay? You have no idea who's looking at you going, that's such a cute outfit. Oh my gosh, she's so cute. You have no idea the impact that you make in people's life just being you. Everywhere you go, you have a choice to make it good or make it bad. And a lot of times, we as human beings, we think, oh, I just went to this church and it was a train wreck. It was a total train wreck. You know, I need to give the money back. It was a train wreck. You may, I don't know, maybe you go into church. Okay? And maybe something happens with you and you're like, this was a total train wreck. You have no idea the impact you make in someone's life when you're in their presence. But you have a choice, either make it good or make it bad. And you think in your head, I haven't made a difference in their life. I have not. I have not. Because in your head, you didn't feel all warm and fuzzy inside about the situation. But when I got home, this lady messaged me. I don't know if she's a backup dancer. I feel like she is. But she wrote me a letter or a message and said that when she picked up her grandson from the church, from the summer program, that he said, best day yet, about me coming to the church. And I was like, that lady had no idea the impact she was making in my life just by telling me what her son said. She had no idea the day that I had. She when she told me that, I'm sure she didn't think anything of it. She was just telling me. But as she began to write me this letter saying that this was her grandson's best day yet because I visited the church, she had no idea that I was sitting here going, that was the worst thing. That was the worst performance I've ever done in my life. No one was listening to me. She didn't know any of that. And when you say things out loud, like let's just say that you're walking in Walmart and you see this lady with a really cute shirt on and you go, that is the cutest shirt I have ever seen. Where did you get that? That lady, you have no idea what that lady is going through. And just by telling her, noticing that she looked cute, you have no idea the impact that you're making in her life. Just by noticing that she has on a cute shirt. Same thing with me. I had no idea the impact that I would make in this child's life by going to the church and just being me. And part of me goes, what was so great? Why was it the best day yet? Like, what did I do for it the best day yet? But I'm going to tell you something, and you're going to see this in my Thursday video. But when when I go into a school and they know a petting zoo's coming, do you think in their head, if they don't know who I am, do you think they're about to dance and jam out and all that stuff? No. They think they're about to pet animals. And all of a sudden, this spicy redheaded girl shows up with lots of energy, playing Simon Says. And then all of a sudden, she's breaking down with this rap song, and we are jamming out. And she's got us screaming, how many? Two. Do you think that they think that in their head when they hear that a petting zoo's coming to the library? When you think of the library, you think quiet, right? You think this is a quiet, I know when I was a kid, you were told to be quiet in the library. And then Aunt Judy bust up in there. It takes two to make a thing go right. You know what I mean? So like, they're not expecting that. They're expecting quiet, somebody soft-spoken, someone up there reading a book. I bet you some of those kids are like, this is going to be so boring. I don't want to listen to what she has to say. Just give me an animal. Like, this is going to be so boring. Say, I was probably one of those kids. Mom, please do not make me go listen to this lady read a book. Like, please. I don't want to sit here and listen to this. So I go in there, but these kids, when I turned on the music, without me saying, come up here and dance with me, I never said that. I don't think I said that. I usually say, can someone break dance? And there's always one kid that will just stand up front and start breakdancing. Okay. Well, yesterday, when I said, does anybody know how to breakdance? Like 5 or 6 kids come up and stand beside me and start doing the kick worm. And I was like, yes. But see, when I was caught up in the moment thinking, I just need to give my money back. This was a train wreck. I forgot that there were 5 kids standing up there doing the kick worm. I forgot about that because I was caught up in watching the kids pick the leaves off the tree, throwing them. I was seeing the kids running around as I was reading the book, not paying attention to me. I was caught up in that. I wasn't caught up into the 5 people that were actually up there doing the kick worm with me. Okay? I wasn't caught up in the kids going, when I would say in my second book, what did Judy do? And they would yell, she didn't listen to what they had to say. Instead, she got on her knees and prayed. I wasn't paying attention to those kids yelling my book out to me. I was distracted by the kids running around and picking the leaves off the tree. I was distracted by that. And many times we do that with ourselves. We get distracted by negative and we forget about the positive, which is what I did. And when I got that message, I suddenly was like, I made a difference. This kid said this was the best day ever. And then when she did that, I said, can I post this on Facebook? She said, I would be honored. And so I posted it on Facebook. Then another mother said how much her child loved my program. And then I started realizing that kids were going home and telling their parents about Sneed's Farmhouse. Their parents apparently thought enough, they must have said enough for the parents to go look me up on Facebook and YouTube to go watch my content or video to see who I am. And they go see who I am and they're commenting, telling me how much their kids like the program. And I was like, wow. How many times do you do that? How many times do you leave a conversation thinking, they didn't listen to a word I said? It went in one ear and out the other. Or I can't get them to pay attention to me. Nobody's listening to a word I say. You have no idea when you're standing in front of people. You have no idea the difference that you make in someone's life. When you are the best version of yourself, when you are striving to be the best version of yourself, what does that look like? What does the best version of Mary Kay look like? It's not going to look like my best version of me, but Mary Kay, if I said, what is the best version of you? What keeps you from being the best version of yourself? What distractions are in the way? Are you going to tell me, well, the distractions that I have are blah, 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 blah? Because these things corrupt my mind, make me feel like my self-worth is zero. These people make me feel that I am not good enough, or these things in my mind tell me I'm not good enough, or no one's paying attention to me. How do you get where those things in your mind are very small, but the positive is very big? Are you like me? And when you think no one's like, this is a terrible program, do you bring everything down with you? Like you want to just give up. Like, I just want to give up. I don't even know why I go into the libraries. I don't even know why I go into schools because ain't nobody listening to me. Do you do like me? That's sitting it out. Allowing negative energy to enter your mind. But this lady stepping out, telling me that her grandson said best day yet, she made a difference in my life. And I bet you money, if she was right here sitting with me, she was probably like, I was just telling you that. I didn't know you had a bad day. I didn't know you left there feeling defeated. I had no idea. Like my grandson thought it was the best day yet. And you're over here thinking it was the worst day yet. And my grandson is telling me it's the best day yet. When there is 50 people in front of you, if you make a difference in one person's life, that's what I call dancing. And oftentimes we get caught up in talking. I'm the world's worst. But a lot of times people need us to listen. And I know for me, when I sit quiet, it feels odd to me. I feel like the conversation has to keep flowing. Like when I just sit quiet and there's dead silence, it feels awkward to me. But when you're talking to someone and you say, "How are you?" I just called to check on you. How are you? And then you're the one doing all the talking and you're not listening to what they have to say. To me, that's sitting it out. I don't think that's the best version of yourself. I don't. I don't feel like you're truly listening to someone when you're doing all the talking. I realize a conversation flows back and forth, but like I talk about me being in that sales meeting, in order to help your friend be the best version of herself, you know, you have to get her to talk. When you go into counseling, when you go to counseling, you talk the whole time and they ask questions and you're talking the whole time. And the more you talk, the more you realize because you hear yourself talk. And she'll say back to, let me say, because I remember one time when I was married before, it was hard. And we were talking, I said, every Friday, he makes me turn in my receipts. This is my husband. Okay. I said, every Friday, he makes me turn in my receipts. And if I spend, let's just say, $10 over my grocery budget, he takes $10 away from my gas budget. And she goes, Judy, how much money do you make? And I began to tell her. And she said, how much money does he make? And I began to tell her. I was the breadwinner. And she said, why do you have no say-so in anything? I was a robot. I did everything that he said. Okay. I was a robot. And when she said that to me and I began to talk, I realized that something was not right. But the more she got me to talk, I realized things were not right. She's like, let me repeat to you what you just said. And like, if you're in a conversation with someone and you're like, girl, I would not let him treat me that way. Repeat back to her. Let me repeat to you what you just said. You just told me that you're the breadwinner and you have to go give your receipts to him. And if you spend $10 over your grocery budget, that means that you can't get a haircut this week or whatever. Let them hear what they say. Because the more you get them to talk, the more you can help them get to be the best version of themselves. But if you're doing all the talking, you're not getting anywhere. I hope today, I know I was a little bit all over the place with my talk. The main thing that I want you to take away, the tool that I want you to put in your pocket is two things. Listen. Sometimes you need to listen to yourself. Have you ever, let's say that you're in a situation, okay, and you're in an argument. Have you ever recorded, like turn on the video and just say, okay, this is a situation. Me and my husband are in a fight, right? Like you're not talking to a person. You're talking to this. And you talk and then go back and play it and listen to what you have to say. Have you ever listened to yourself talk? If I would have hit record in the truck when I was saying, That was a train wreck. I did terrible. I like no one was listening to me. People were running around. People were picking. If I went back and listened to myself talk, I would be a negative Nancy. So sometimes listening to other people, sometimes listening to yourself works. Listening is a tool that I want you to put in your pocket. You need to learn when you're in a conversation, okay, Alyssa, let's pull this tool out of our pocket. Today, I need to listen. I need to listen. I don't need to offer advice. I just need to listen. The other tool that I want you to put in your pocket is everywhere you go, you have the opportunity to make a difference. When you're in the grocery store, people look at you. I'll give you one other example. Let's say that you go to the grocery store and you go put your groceries up. Go put your groceries in the car and you don't put the buggy back. Are you one of those people that don't go put the buggy back? Do you know someone notices that? There's someone in that parking lot going, she ain't putting the buggy up. That buggy's going to hit somebody's car and they're going to run their car. I will tell you that I'm the person in the parking lot that notices you put your buggy up. Buggy, shopping cart. Some people don't know what a buggy is. Shopping cart, whatever you call it. We call it buggies. Someone notices that. I'm the person that notices you doing that. And there's often times when I'll go up to the person and go, thank you for putting your buggy up. That was really nice of you. The tool that I want you to put in your pocket is to remember everywhere you go, people notice. And even though no words come out of your mouth, your actions can make a difference in someone's life. You never know who's looking at you. And you don't have to be a content creator to get people when they're listening to you. I have no idea right now, the replays, the active people that are here, I have no idea the difference I'm making in anybody's life. Good or bad, I have no idea. But I tell you to listen, but also I tell you to be vocal. If you are in Walmart and you notice that is a cute shirt, tell her. If you notice someone puts the buggy up, tell her. Notice good deeds because it goes a long way. And that's what I call dance. So today is Wednesday, hump day. You have a choice. You can sit it out or you can dance. And I hope you dance. I will see y'all next week. Dee Dee has not had her calf. She doesn't have enough milk yet. So we're getting close. Now, I do need to tell you something. My Thursday video, or tomorrow, it's about Dexter and Dee Dee and some hard choices that we're having to make. So be looking for it. You know how I tell you that I just said that saying things can make a difference? I'm going through a lot, juggling a lot, and I know that you are too. And us commenting back and forth, I try to comment on every single comment on YouTube. Facebook, I don't have as much time, but I put a lot of effort into YouTube. So when you take the time to comment, I'm listening. I thank you. I thank you because I want a relationship with y'all. I don't want it to be one sided. And when you open up and talk to me, I appreciate it. If you ever need to talk to the backup dancers, don't forget about the community page on YouTube. You can always talk there. I appreciate you opening up to me, telling me on comments about losing your daughter or losing your mom or things that you're going through. I care. I read them. It means a lot to me. I'll see y'all next week. If Dee Dee has her calf this weekend, I'll let you know. Bye.